Howdy folks, and welcome to the Hillbilly Kitchen. Today we're making cream cheese roll-ups. Now I know this looks a little different than what it normally does when I make a video for y'all, but I'm headed back to Mountain City today to help with the rebuild efforts up there after Hurricane Helene. But I don't want to neglect those of you who are here for cooking videos. So I did these baby lemon impossible pies earlier. And these just came out of the oven, so they're nowhere near cool enough to even come out of the pan, and none of them are cool enough to go in the fridge. If you missed the Impossible Lemon Pie video, go back and check that out. Anyway, all you need for this, and it is super simple. This is a good breakfast recipe. It's good for like a snack or a dessert. You can make it a little bit fancy or just have it plain. You need some bread. Any bread will work, even the stale stuff that you were getting ready to throw out. You need some cinnamon and sugar, and I usually mix mine like 1/4 cup of sugar per teaspoon of cinnamon at least, sometimes a little bit more. And you need some melted butter. And the other day, Melinda and I did this in a live stream, but it was a little bit chaotic, so I wanted to do it in a video so you could get the recipe. About a tablespoon of butter will do 3 slices of bread. So that's what we figured out. You might need a little bit more than that, and you do want to melt it. And you need some room temperature cream cheese. Preheat your oven to 350. You can also make these in an air fryer or a toaster oven. You want just to heat them up, get them melted inside and crispy outside. You can also do them in a skillet, medium-low heat with a lid on it if you don't want to heat up the house with the oven. Because like I said, you're just trying to crisp them outside and melt the inside. Cut the crust off your bread, and you can save this, throw it in your oven or your toaster oven or whatever while you're making these, or even just leave it sitting out till it dries out, and then smash it up and use it for breadcrumbs. Because when times get tight, kind of like they are right now, we don't need to be wasting anything. When you get these made and heated, you can eat them just like they are without anything because they're coated in cinnamon and sugar. You can dip them in maple syrup. When we were eating them after the live stream, we were talking, and we thought they would be really, really good dipped in apple butter. I think I might try that with some of these, but just serve them with like a little condiment cup of apple butter, or just put apple butter on the table and let folks scoop them out a spoonful. Like I said, dip them in maple syrup. You can also serve them with whipped cream and fruit if you'd like for a slightly fancier breakfast. And this is why I don't, there it is, why I don't have other stuff on my countertop when I'm doing a video. I couldn't find my rolling pin. Anyhow, you want to flatten your bread out once you cut the crust off. Get it as flat as you can. The smell of these lemon pies is torturing me to death, just so y'all know. As I'm rolling this out, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking sometimes, you know how you make a great big batch of pancakes and you have some pancakes left over? This would be a good use for your leftover pancakes too. You could do this with leftover pancakes. Okay. Once you got that done, just take your softened cream cheese, and Alex is going to fuss at me over my cream cheese wrapper, but let's face it, in a real kitchen, you ain't going to take that cream cheese off that paper. You're going to use it on the paper, and you're going to spread it out. You're not going to put it on a pretty plate if you're cooking with it. Maybe if you're serving it, but not if you're cooking with it. And today, I suppose y'all can see that this is a real kitchen. How much cream cheese you put on each one is kind of up to you. It also will kind of depend on your budget. You can kind of see there how much I've put on them, not a ton. And you can put more if you want more. You can put so much on it, it is oozing out. But using your stale bread for this is cheaper even than buying like bagels or something, unless you're going to make your bagels and putting cream cheese on them. Okay, I did discover something that I wasn't paying any attention to before. If you roll it up like that top edge was really uneven, so I didn't cut half the piece of bread off. But if you roll that top edge in first, then the ends are more uniform and a little bit prettier. But just roll them up kind of tight, like you mashed them out super flat, then roll them up tight. These take about 20 minutes or so in a 350-degree oven to get crispy and melted through in the middle. The air of an air fryer would only take about 10 minutes. The toaster oven would probably take about 15 minutes, about the same as a skillet. If you were doing them in a skillet with a lid on it on top of the stove, it probably would only take about 10 or 15 minutes. And of course, it wouldn't heat up the kitchen if you're making them in the summertime while the kids are off. But this is a fairly quick, week morning breakfast for when they're getting ready for school. Anyways, you dip them in your melted butter, and then you dip them in your cinnamon and sugar. Complicated process. And when you get them all done, you place them in a pan. And I didn't bring another pan in here. I've got some in the oven that I'm getting ready to pull out and show y'all. I don't know why I didn't bring another pan. Probably because I was trying to do 2 videos at once. And now y'all know why I don't generally cook a whole meal live. You wouldn't get much out of it because I'd forget too much stuff. It would just be mass chaos. When you put them in your pan to bake them or air fry them or however you're going to do them, you do want to lay the seam side down. Even if you're doing them in a skillet, you want to start with that seam side down, and then you can roll them over so that they get crispy on all sides. I would say 1/4 cup of sugar would probably do 6 to 8 rolls, and a teaspoon of cinnamon, because I did 8 and I had about 1/2 cup and I have half of it left. Even though I didn't have a second pan ready, I do have more pans. So once you get them all coated, just lay them seam side down in your pan. It's better if they don't touch, kind of like that. And then put them in an oven, toaster oven, air fryer, whatever, skillet, until they're crispy on the outside and melted on the inside. Okay, these cream cheese roll-ups here have been in the oven for about 20 minutes. And they are very, very hot, and they are crispy on the outside. And you can see this one here is kind of starting to swell apart a little bit. They look basically the same coming out of the oven as they do going in the oven. I did find some homemade apple butter, so I'm going to give that a taste when it cools down just a little bit. You can serve it, like I said, with a little whipped cream, some berries if you want to fancy it up. Maybe even do a really easy Mother's Day breakfast or something, like I said, when the kids are having a sleepover. I'm going to try this. Before we go, I want to leave you with Philippians 4:19. But my God shall supply all your needs according to his riches and glory by Jesus Christ. In hard times, it's important for us to kind of separate our wants from our needs and pray for our needs. But it's also important for those of us who are God's children to pay attention to those who are a little less fortunate. Pay attention to our brothers and sisters who may be in need, because it is by Jesus Christ, through his children, that he blesses people. And if you are in a position where you have more than you need, allow God to use you to bless someone else. And when you do that, you will truly understand what his riches and glory are, because there is no greater blessing on this earth than to allow God to use you to bless someone else in Jesus' name. Thank you so very much for joining us in the Hillbilly Kitchen. Give these cream cheese roll-ups a try, because they are really, really good and they are really, really easy. If you haven't already, don't forget to click like and subscribe before you leave. Share all of our videos with your friends and be someone's blessing this week. Until next time, remember to put God first.